Thank you very much, and welcome to The Tonight Show. You're here. Well, guys, after a crazy 4 days, March Madness is down to the Sweet 16. That's right, we're down to 16 teams, 3 #1 seeds, and 9 million commercials for AT&T. Yeah. Of course, the Cinderella story that everyone's talking about is the 15-seed St. Peter's Peacocks, who have made it to the Sweet 16. It's exciting for longtime fans who have been following the team since Thursday. And St. Peter's is the first team from New Jersey to make the Sweet 16 in over 20 years. And if they go all the way, they'll be the only team to wear their championship rings on their pinkies. NCAO, hey-oh, this guy. How can you not love their name, to the Peacocks? I mean, this is the best thing that happened to NBC since the new Law & Order. I love it. Let's get to some news. Well, guys, today confirmation hearings began for Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson. The hearing process will last 4 days. It's basically C-SPAN's version of Coachella. And I saw that the top Republican leading the hearings, Chuck Grassley, is 88 years old. Wow. When it was his turn to speak, he was like, "Tell us who you are and then tell me who I am." Yep, Jackson will face days of tough questions. Brett Kavanaugh was like, "It'll be fine. I did it for 4 days." After the second day... After the second day, it's kind of a blur. It's fine. It's like, you're my best friend. Hold my hair. But this is cool. I saw that Judge Jackson's parents were at the confirmation hearing. Even crazier, so were Chuck Grassley's.
Really?
Hey, you guys remember last year when that huge ship blocked up the Suez Canal? Well, the same company that owns that ship is back in the news, and it's for exactly the reason that you think. Listen to this.
A massive cargo ship is stuck in the mud off the coast of Maryland. The vessel, called the Ever Forward, grounded in the Chesapeake Bay.
Yeah, the Ever Forward got stuck. Which is why they're renaming it the Irony. Yeah, every few months, the owner gets a call from the captain like, "Okay, don't be mad. Well, listen to this. I heard that Match just launched a new dating app for single parents called Stir. Yep, their slogan is, "I'll join your hell if you join mine." And this is fun. Today, after a 2-year hiatus, Dairy Queen's Free Cone Day returned. Wow. And after their 2-year hiatus, the McDonald's ice cream machine is still on hiatus. I'm sorry. Finally, guys, in Miami, a thief broke into a sneaker store and took 20 shoes. But when he got out, he realized he only stole the left sneakers. Officers were like, "The suspect is 5'10", 200 pounds, and running in circles." No matter what happens, I hope he realizes that 20 lefts do not make a right. Today in Washington, it was day 2 of confirmation hearings for Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson. Yep, these hearings are never really fun. But then again, there's always a paper crinkle to really liven things up. Watch this.
Unfortunately, has a 77% record. If I'm sorry, I'm going to make sure that this is accurate. In the United States versus Klotz, Trump appointed Judge Sarah Pitley.
Yeah, oh my goodness, yeah. Even old people unwrapping hard candy at the movies were like, "Let's go, buddy, come on." You guys just jumping on gum, I love it. Yeah, Judge Jackson spent all day answering questions. Meanwhile, can we see the Republican senators who were asking them? Gosh, looks like the Employee of the Month wall at Cracker Barrel. That's right. Today, Judge Jackson spent hours answering questions. Most senators didn't get to be there, but here at The Tonight Show, we got a hold of the questions they would have asked.
Really?
Yeah, check these out. First, we have Senators Roger Marshall and Jerry Moran. They would have asked, can you tell which one of us is on his last Invisalign tray? That's a question they had. Up next, we have Senator James Lankford. He would have asked, do you know I'm the only Weasley who got into Slytherin? Finally, we have Senator Bill Cassidy, who would have asked, I've created my own escape room, want to visit? That's hard no on that. Well, some more news. President Biden just warned that Russia could be exploring options for cyber attacks against the U.S. Isn't that always true? It's kind of like saying Michael Bublé is exploring another Christmas album. It's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. Biden said that they could hit power grids and water supplies. And people were like, cool, just let us know when TikTok's in danger, okay? Meanwhile, to protect yourself online, experts are saying that you should make your passwords longer than 8 characters. Americans are like, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, exclamation points? Some business news. Zoom has introduced a new avatar feature that lets users show up to meetings as an animal. Like a dog, a rabbit, or a fox, yeah. There's nothing like getting laid off by a fox in the Bahamas. And finally, a 101-year-old man who dropped out of high school in the 1930s just got his diploma more than 80 years later. Asked what he's gonna do now, the guy said, spring break! Let's get to some news. Well, guys, today was Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's final day facing questions from senators during her confirmation hearings. That's right, after nearly 30 hours of questions. Whew, yeah. Her husband was so scared to ask what she wanted for dinner, he just ordered takeout from everywhere. He's just like, yeah, never mind. Do you want to watch Netflix? No, Netflix. Okay, we'll just let's buy another TV. We'll put on 2 things at once. But this is great. According to a new poll, Judge Jackson already has a record approval rating among Americans for a Supreme Court nominee. Right now, Biden's like, hey, I nominated you. It's only fair that we split that approval rating. Come on, this is for you. Yep, the only way it could have been higher is if she ended today with a water bottle flip. It's like, oh, yeah! In other news, despite the current state of affairs, Vladimir Putin is still planning to attend the G20 summit with other world leaders in Bali this fall. Which explains this year's theme, awkward. Seriously, what is he doing? That's like getting kicked out of high school and then showing up for the reunion. Like, what's up, guys? It's like, no, you were, no. Yeah, it'll backfire on Putin when he realizes it's not a G20 summit, it's an intervention. He's like, wait a minute, I remember you. And... Some business news. Apparently, Apple has experienced 2 major outages in the past 2 days. Luckily, the problem was fixed when the guy at the Genius Bar told Tim Cook to just drop the entire company in a bag of rice. Yeah, in the most recent outage, Apple Music and Apple Books went down, which means no one noticed. Apple Books. Look it up on Apple Books. Hey, I saw that Taco Bell is celebrating its 60th anniversary with an all-new vegetarian meal. And actually, it's the first time anyone's ever said happy anniversary inside of Taco Bell.
Wow.
Some TV news. CBS is releasing a new dating competition show called The Real Love Boat, in which a big group of singles spend nearly a month together on a cruise. Ooh. Yep, it's the only dating show where the winner is whoever gets kicked off first. It's just like The Bachelor, but instead of a rose, you get a bottle of Imodium. Yeah. And finally, I saw that today is National Puppy Day. Yep, and not surprisingly, National Puppy Day falls on Hump Day. Well, guys, earlier today, President Biden was in Brussels to meet with NATO leaders for an emergency summit on Russia. When they voted on a resolution to condemn Putin, 30 leaders voted yay, and 1 office plant voted niet. Anyone see that plant walk? Yeah, it was an emergency summit, but don't worry, NATO leaders still had time for a family photo. Here it is. Yeah. It looks like the sales team at a Honda dealership, doesn't it? I'm expecting them to all say together, "We're ready to serve you." Can we see it again? Yeah. It's a very diverse group. There are suits of every color. Yeah, that's either a NATO summit or a conference for men who don't know what to do with their arms photo. Can we see the photo just one more time? Kind of doing his own thing. Well, changing gears, this morning, the Today Show investigated the dangers of the metaverse. And they even sent one of their reporters in to see what kind of activity goes on in there. Let's see how that went.
We wanted to see the concerns for ourselves, so I put on a headset and entered the metaverse. That blue robot is me. There, we entered a virtual strip club, created and uploaded by another user.
I'm a reporter, yes.
Trying to understand the metaverse.
You should not have come in here.
Amazing. Billions spent on technology so a cartoon weasel can kick you out of a fake strip club.
Oh, you should not have come in here. Put your hands together for cinnamon, everybody.
Some business news. Due to a shortage of ingredients, General Mills is struggling to supply grocery stores with Totino's pizza rolls and Pillsbury cookie dough. Oh. It's serious. As soon as he heard Biden called NATO back for another emergency summit. Honestly, when I heard there was a TP shortage, I wasn't thinking Totino's pizza. Right now, General Mills is like, "Hey, but we still have plenty of Fiber One bars. Hello? Anyone? Anyone want to gnaw on a Fiber One bar?" One vote said niet. One office plant said niet.
It was a spy. It was a Russian spy, is what you're saying.
What's that?
It was a Russian spy in that plant.
Oh, is that correct?
Yeah, that's what it was. That's why it said niet.
Oh, so you're saying the 30 world leaders said
Yep.
yes, and then one office plant said
Niet, which
Yeah.
is no in Russian.
yeah, and that was it. It was the plant.
So
was-
if you're implying that it was a spy in that plant. That's what makes it so humorous. That's what I love about it. Topical.
Yeah, it is. Hey, this is big, though, guys. Yesterday, CEOs of every major U.S. airline called on President Biden to drop the federal mask mandate. Ooh. Yep. Each airline actually released its own statement about it. Take a look. American Airlines said, "We've complied with the mask mandate long enough." United said, "It's time for a return to normalcy." Spirit Airlines said, "Wait, there was a mask mandate?" And Delta said, "We believe vaccine numbers are high enough to drop the mask policy." Then Spirit said, "Does duct tape count as a mask? Because if so, we've been masking tons of people." JetBlue said, "We look forward to seeing our passengers' smiling faces again." And finally, Spirit said, "Passengers can smile?" Oh, now I've heard everything. Pretty out of the loop, I don't know. Hey, get this. I saw that Uber has reached a deal to list all New York City taxis on its app. And this makes sense. They hashed out the deal by screaming at each other through open car windows.
You want to sign the deal? You sign the deal. You can't park there and sign the deal. You.
Hey, here's some good news. I read that as kids return to the classroom, their test scores are going up. That's a really nice way of saying we all failed at homeschooling. Yep, first graders are already coming home like, "Mother, Father, your homeschooling efforts were rather deficient." I heard a new report about where people like to eat food in their house, and the results might surprise you. Check it out.
According to a new survey in the UK, more than 1 in 5 people say they snack in the bathroom. 18% confess they enjoy their treats on the toilet.
What? You know what? Just take me back to the metaverse. I think I like that.
Welcome back, Mr. Fallon. Here's 70 Jimmy bucks for you to make it rain.
Finally, researchers say that they're getting closer to producing the first ever birth control pill for men. Ooh. That's better than the original form of male birth control, dress socks with sandals. Well, guys, this Sunday is the 94th Academy Awards. Yeah. That's right, the Oscars are 94, and typical Hollywood, they're all dating statues in their 20s. I can't wait. The biggest stars walking the red carpet being asked, who are you wearing? Who swabbed you? You know, quick heads up, if you hear a piercing shriek halfway through the show, that's just me when Questlove wins the Oscar. Meanwhile, Quest, you're going to enjoy this. So the Oscar gift bag this year has a value of $140,000. $140,000. Can we see what's in the bag? Oh, it's gas. Oh, it's a gallon of gas. A whole gallon. The big nominees this year are The Power of the Dog, Coda, Belfast, and a bunch of others you started streaming and forgot to finish. But this is new. I saw that this year there's a fan favorite award that will be decided by a vote on Twitter. That's why the Oscar will go to a TikTok of a guy falling off a golf cart. Well, this year the Oscars are paying tribute to The Godfather for its 50th anniversary. They'll be like, yeah. Yep, they're like, we're here to honor all the great Godfather movies. The Godfather, Godfather Part 2. You know those two movies? That's right, the Oscars will also pay tribute to the James Bond franchise. It makes sense because there's so many classic Bond films. I mean, here, check out this promo that the Academy just released.
This year, the Academy is excited to take a look back at every James Bond film, including Live and Let Die, Die Another Day, Tomorrow Never Dies, No Time to Die, Let Me Die Tomorrow, Tomorrow Dies for Die, No Dying, Live, Die, Die, Let, Died Dying, Now Tomorrow for Die, Die-de, Die-de, Live, Die, Die-de, Let Die.
A lot of great classics.
Wow.
Speaking of movies, everyone is talking about this. The director of The Batman just released a deleted scene showing Robert Pattinson facing off against the Joker. Ooh. It's pretty shocking. I had no idea that you could release a 3-hour movie and still have deleted scenes. But the scene is really something. I mean, we haven't seen a Batman face off against the Joker in months. Some TV news today. The second season of Bridgerton started streaming on Netflix. Oh, yeah. Mother's Day came early this year. Yeah, that's right. At least I thought that apparently a lot of the fans are upset because this season has way fewer sex scenes. I know. Bridgerton without the sex scenes, which explains this new Netflix message I saw. Why are you still watching?
Wow.
Isn't that weird? Got even weirder when Netflix added more sex scenes to Is It Cake? Well, this is nice today. President Biden was in Poland visiting our troops and even stayed for some pizza. But I think the jalapeno slice caught him by surprise. Watch this. I like to tell
Oh.
You know it must have been bad when during a pandemic, Biden's like, let me drink from your cup. I need something to hand it over. Just spit it in my mouth. Just go, hot. Yeah, the spice really got to him, and this is real. He was still feeling it a little later. This is a real video. Check it out.
I want to thank each one of you and your organizations, excuse me. We were visiting our troops, and they had pizza pie with hot peppers on it.
I love that dude. I love how he says pizza pie. I don't even think Mario and Luigi say that. They was like, you know what gives me worse heartburn than pizza pie? Biscotti. Some business news. IHOP and Pepsi have teamed up to create the new maple syrup cola. Here it is. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to be healthy, so I'm going to wait till they come out with a diet maple syrup Pepsi. Yeah, it turns out the executives at IHOP are just as drunk as the customers. And finally, a new study found that drinking 2 to 3 cups of coffee a day could add years to your life. On the flip side, if you want to take years off of your life, try the new maple syrup Pepsi from Iron.